Welcome to episode 5 of Emulating Puskas. In today's episode, we're going to be having a look at the players aged 18, going on 19. It's almost their 19th birthday, so we're having a look at them 2 seasons into their career. Now, if you missed the first 4 episodes where I introduced all the players, I've put a link to the playlist in the description below. Thank you for all the feedback on the first 4 episodes, the introduction episodes where I introduced you all. Once again, of course, I mean, there's going to be loads of disappointed people, even though there was less people that signed up this time, because I let you guys that watched all of Emulating Messi sign up in the last episode. There was quite a bit of confusion about that as well. Some people didn't have a clue where they were meant to sign up. And that just illustrates my point. I wanted people that are actually fans of the series to sign up, rather than people just coming along, putting their name down and then going away until the next series starts. So that's why I did it. But of course there are a lot of you that still were not included, so that's just the way it goes, I'm afraid. If there is another way around it, I don't know if you've got any suggestions for having more of you in the series. I don't know, but the more players there are, the more messy it gets, I guess. So that's why I decided to have 89 players in this series rather than over 100 like last series. I thought there was maybe a few too many. I don't know. Maybe I'm open to suggestions for future series. I always am open to constructive feedback from you guys that watch me. Anyway, I hope you're looking forward to the rest of this series where we're going to be holidaying until all the players are retired. I'm just going to scroll down here, all the players in alphabetical order, so you can see where your player is at the end of the second season. Unfortunately, the save file for the end of the first season didn't save properly. It was overwritten by this one, so we can't have a look at the players at the end of the first season. There were a lot of players at the end of the first season that did not have a team though. So what I did was I installed a few more leagues into the database, which I will show you in a second, to enable some of the... It was mainly players in smaller island nations that struggled to find a club, to be honest. So what I have done is, let's just have a look. I've included the Brazilian League, the Chinese League, the Australian League, and I think that's it. But there's quite a few players from Australia and New Zealand, so hopefully they'll move to the A-League. There's a few players from South America, so maybe they'll move to the first division in Brazil. And also a few players in the Far East that could maybe move to the Chinese Super League. There's a bit of money there as well, so we might have a few players moving over there towards the end of their career anyway. It does mean it's going to take a bit longer to holiday into the future, because the more leagues you have, the slower the game is. Unfortunately, we've already had one player retire. It's Haraldson, who in the last series was Icelandic, but in this series was a Mongolian goalkeeper. He has retired. He retired at the end of the first season, couldn't find a club, and just retired at the age of 18. Really strange, but it's quite realistic, I guess. Not every young player makes it, and unfortunately Haraldson hasn't made it this time round. In keeping with previous series, in Emulating Messi, the last series, we all survived, didn't we, for many, many years, but I guess it's more realistic this series. We've had a casualty already. So you've seen where your player is, or the player that you're supporting is. What I'm going to do in every episode is do what I usually do. We'll have a look at the top players in terms of current ability, and maybe the bottom players in terms of current ability, and a few other things as well. We'll just sort them, and then we'll have a look at some of the players in a little bit more detail. Not every single player, because the episodes will be way too long if I do that. As you can see though, interestingly, we've got a goalkeeper out on top, Jace Cannon, the French guy who also has Luxembourg and Belgium as a nationality, I do believe. He's got 164 current ability after 2 seasons in the game, so he's gone up 34 points. That's pretty incredible, and he's not even playing for a really top team. He's playing for Troyes in Ligue 1 in France, and average ratings aren't amazing. Goalkeepers, like I've said in the previous series, it's tougher for them to get an high average rating, especially on FM16, I've found. And when you're playing for a team that isn't winning every single game, I guess that's even tougher. Where they finished 6th, so that's not bad at all this season, actually. Really good performance from them. But he looks like a superb goalkeeper. He hasn't broken into the first team for France yet, but he does have 6 under-21 caps. And the second best player is Floyd Leonard from Haiti. 14 goals in 26 games for his country. He's playing for Zenit and doing really well for them, actually. I haven't loaded the Russian league, but it hasn't hindered his progress at all. He's doing fantastically well. as you can see there. Kenneth Kennison for Man United also doing really well. 17 goals in 21 games for New Zealand as well. Remarkable achievement at international level, and he's played plenty of games for Man United this season. He's not actually got a very good average rating. 10 goals in all competitions though is not bad really for his first full season. Last season he didn't play as many games, and his current ability has just gone really high. For whatever reason, Joseph Wagner has dropped down to 116 current ability. He's got 7 caps for Zambia, and he's moved to Aves in Portugal. But his current ability has just declined. There's a few other players that have dropped below 130 as well, unfortunately. Hopefully we will see them progressing yet above that 130 once again, and then push on from there, because we don't want them declining at this stage in their career already, do we? Let's just go through the list then and look at things like wage. You can see that Igo Zumanov, great name, is earning £63,000 a week at PSG. PSG generally pay the most on this game, don't they? We saw in emulating Messi, they paid huge amounts of money to the players that played for their club. And once again, they're paying a lot of money for Zumanov. And West as well earning quite a bit of money. Calabrese earning lots at Chelsea as well. Lowest wage is Joseph Wagner, actually, £425 a week. There will be players still on youth contracts, I guess, at this stage. Ben Savage and Cahill Timmy playing in the A-League, not earning a huge amount of money at the moment as well. Value-wise, we've got West, who is worth £31 million at PSG. Very, very good, versatile player, as you can see. They can play in midfield, attacking midfield, or up front. He's got 1 goal in 2 games for Spain. I don't know if that was his main nationality or if he's chosen to play for Spain. I don't know. Let's have a quick look, actually. Nationalities. Now, Brazilian and Spanish. I think Brazilian was his first nationality, and he's decided to play for Spain, I think. But there we go. He's played 2 games for Spain and scored 1 goal. So I guess he's chosen Spain unless they're friendlies. We've got Igo Zumanov also worth £28 million. Let's have a look at him. 6 goals in 7 games for Russia, doing really, really well for them. And Boris Johnson worth £28 million. The Swedish Boris Johnson. He's at Stoke, and he's worth a lot of money. Really good season in the Premier League this year. 20 goals in all competitions, 16 in the Premier League. Really good average rating, and he's got 2 goals in 10 games for Sweden. He's doing really well. Before I move on, just to let you know, in the description below, I've uploaded the save file, so the end of the second season save file, so you can have a look at things in more detail yourself if you so wish. Because I'm not going to look at every player in this episode. If you want to have a look at your player or someone else's player, then download the save file, put it into your game, and you can have a look at everything in detail. So I'll be doing that in every single episode this series, because I won't be doing emulating extra episodes, apart from one emulating extra episode, probably when the players are about 30 years old. We'll have a look at them in more detail at that stage. Okay, moving on then. World reputation. We've actually got a player, Morgan Kendall, plays for Cardiff. He's got a 4-star world reputation already, and that is really interesting. He plays for Cardiff. They've moved up to the Premier League. They got promoted. I think maybe Cardiff signed a few players. We'll have a look at in a second. They were interested in a lot of players, but they've signed this Welsh guy. 4 goals in 19 games for Wales. And his world reputation, I don't know what he's doing, but marketing-wise, his agent or his representatives are obviously doing a very good job, because he's world-renowned. There's another Welsh player, Dagubati, 3.5-star world reputation. He's playing for Ajax in Holland. But 11 goals in 20 games for Wales, very impressive. And his world reputation is really good as well, as is Zumanov at PSG, the Russian. That makes more sense because he's playing for PSG, but it's unusual for those 2 Welsh players to be so high up. Lowest world reputation, we've got a few players on 1.5 stars. Caps-wise then, this is full international caps. Floyd Leonard has played 26 times for Haiti, scored 14 goals as well. I've got quite a few players with over 20 caps, as you can see there. If I just go down the list, you can see lots of players have been capped by their country. There's not a huge number that haven't there. I mean, there's quite a few, but the majority of players have been capped at this stage. Probably, yep, the English players. I don't know why you guys always pick England. I suppose it's because you're from England, you want to represent England, but there's only the odd player that... We had a couple players in the last series that did really, really well for England, but there was one person that didn't get capped at all. So it is a risk picking England on this game. It's probably a risk picking Brazil and Spain and those sort of countries as well, Germany. Youth internationals, Alex Calabrese, he's actually decided to play for Germany. He was American was his first nationality, had German as his second nationality. He's chosen Germany, played 15 times at youth level, but has also got 2 full international caps, which is tough to get into that German team. So he's done really, really well. He must be a good player. Playing for Chelsea, can play anywhere down that right-hand side, and he's doing very, very well in the early stages of his career. Highest goals at youth level is 10 goals for West and 10 goals for Josh Downard for Spain and Italy respectively. But huge ass, 9 goals in 4 games for the Scottish youth team, 5 goals and 11 for the full team. If we just look at the top goal scorers at international level, at full international level, Frank Paul Nuasala for New Zealand has got 24 goals in 22 games for New Zealand. That is some achievement. And Christian Blanco for Honduras has got 20 goals in 18. Kenneth Kennison, 17 in 21 for New Zealand. New Zealand, are they like the new Canada? And remember last series, emulating Messi, Canada just had incredible players that were getting tons of goals. They didn't do particularly well overall, but they certainly made progress internationally. Now New Zealand, this series, maybe they have replaced them because they've gone up to 100th in the world from 131st, as you can see there. And they've got players that are scoring goals for them in Nuasala and Kenneth Kennison. Fantastic stuff from them. There's a few players that have got over 10 goals already, as you can see there. Floyd Leonard for Haiti, Dagobati for Wales, and Chris Harris Jr. for Puerto Rico have all got over 10 goals internationally. If you look at all-time appearances, we've got a couple of players very close to 100 appearances at club level. Chris Reed, who was exceptional in the last series for Canada, but this series he's English and he's playing for Burnley in the Championship. I assume they're still in the Championship. Yeah. So, but he's still scoring goals, still getting lots of appearances under his belt. West as well for PSG, 97 appearances. That is no mean feat, getting all those appearances for PSG. Yeah, and it is for the first team as well. Zander, the Scot, playing for Blackburn, has 90 appearances as well. If we look at goals, West is actually the top goal scorer, 40 goals in 97 appearances. Golden Puskas, my player, the actual replacement for Puskas in this series. He's got 1 goal in 7 games for Hungary, so it's not quite as good a record as the real Puskas, but maybe we can push on. Still very young. Played for NEC in Holland. Last year had a pretty good season. Then this year for Ghent in Belgium, if I can spit my words out, moved for 6.25 million, 24 goals in all competitions. That's not bad at all, and it has pushed me up to the second top goal scorer so far. Hugh Jass has got plenty goals as well, as is Chris Reed and Kekkonen, the Finn. This season, if we just look, I actually made the most appearances and scored the joint highest number of goals along with West. Boris Johnson did very well for Stoke as well, as we've already seen. And assists-wise, that in the past season, Jedi Knight from defensive midfield, 16 assists for Barnsley, got 20 appearances under his belt for Barbados as well. Average rating-wise, Anthony Rosmus for Nürnberg, the Pole, getting the highest average rating out of any of us, to having a decent career so far. If we just look at club level, I'm just going to go down and see. I wanted to see how many players Cardiff have. They've actually only got 1 player, Morgan Kendall. Considering how many players they were interested in, it's a surprise that they've only signed 1. But they were pretty much interested in every single player. Madeira in Portugal have 3 players. PSG, unsurprisingly, have 5. But it does seem to be a bit more of a spread this time around. I'm guessing over time we will see the majority of players move to teams like PSG, Man United, City, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, etc. That is predictable. But at this stage it is a good spread, which is good to see. Let's just have a look at the England team. We're 5th in the world then. There must be a couple of players in there already, surely. Although I can't see anyone. I might be wrong. I might have missed someone out. But there are some players that have been capped by England already. If we look at the Premier League then, let's just have a look at who won it. Man City last season, Arsenal this season. 86 points. Aguero and Vardy joint top scorer, but Boris Johnson on that list. It's fantastic to see that. Championship wise, so let's have a look at this. We've got a few players in the playing in the Championship. Borough, West Brom and Blackburn going up. In La Liga, we've seen Real Madrid win it last year and Barcelona win it this year. Ligue 1, PSG predictably have won both seasons. You can see West was second top goal scorer this season. Portuguese Premier League, Benfica won it this year, Porto won it last year. Serie A, saw Juventus win it last year, but AC Milan have managed to topple Juventus this season and finish top of the table. Oh, Belotti, I love this guy, top goal scorer. What a player he is on FM16, seriously good player. German First Division, Bayern Munich have won it both years. No surprise there. Champions League then, we've seen Arsenal, they beat Chelsea last season in an all-English final, and Bayern Munich managed to beat Barcelona this season. So have we got any players playing for Arsenal or Bayern Munich yet? I don't know. So we might have a couple of players that have won the Champions League already. Let's go down to the Euro Cup. Tottenham beat Lazio last season, and then Lazio beat Dortmund this season. And this is a real surprise. Switzerland beat Wales in the final of Euro 2016. That is really random. 3-2 win in the final. William Williamson scored a goal in the first minute. That's one of our players. He scored. I think we've got a couple of Swiss players, haven't we? Let's just have a look at the stats. Did we have any of our players featuring other than William Williamson? Let's go down. I thought I can't see anyone. Maybe they didn't get into the team, but I'm sure if Morgan Kendall's in there, Dagobati, William Williamson, Connor Crofts as well. And is there anyone else? I thought we had one more Welsh guy. But, so unlucky for some of our players. They've almost won. They've got a runners-up medal at this stage in their career, which isn't bad. Will Wales have another chance? So they've got a very good team. We've added to the strength of Wales. I can see Wales doing really well in this series. So who's going to push on and become the best player? Maybe you can let me know your predictions in the comment section below. Which player will go on and not necessarily emulate Puskas, but become the player of the series? At this stage, you've got some front runners in Cannon, Leonard, Kennison, Pataki. One of our Hungarians doing really well. Gopi, Dagubati. I mean, I suppose the sensible option is to select one of these players with over 150 current ability already. But remember, in emulating Messi, we did see some slow burners come in from behind and doing really, really well later on in their careers. So just because the player you're supporting or your player is all the way at the bottom, it doesn't matter. They can push on and be slow burning players and become superheroes at the end of the series. So I just wanted to have a look at the sweepers, in fact, because we've got a couple sweepers this time around, haven't we? Where am I going? We need to go up, because Joe Living Librero Loco, what a name, is one of our sweepers who plays for Tahiti. 5 caps and 1 goal. He's at Hamburg. He hasn't played a game yet, unfortunately. He's transfer listed as well. But I would love to see the sweepers do well. Joe Suto has actually been turned into a centre-back already. No one really plays sweepers nowadays. I guess that is a problem. He's actually playing for PSG, though. Playing for the reserves. But he's at PSG, so they believe in him. He hasn't managed to get capped by Portugal at under 21 or full level, but maybe when he's being fully converted into a centre-back he will be. I just wanted a sweeper to do well, but it looks like they're not really going to play that sweeper. Never mind. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode 5. Please smash that like button, it'd be much appreciated. Let me know which player you think will dominate this series in the comment section below. And make sure you keep an eye out for episode 6, which will be out in the next couple of days. I'll see you soon, guys.